Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Passion Works 101. I'm Kendra.
I am Patrice Live.
And I want to introduce a great friend of mine, pianist, keyboardist extraordinaire, producer, Deanna Hawkins, everybody.
All right.
Deanna is a freelance musician, a producer, and an educator. Coming out of Duke Ellington. This has been,
Many moons ago.
Yeah, many moons. Howard University for all the Howard HU people.
Yeah.
And have just played for a slew of people. Did you want to say a few people that you've...
To name a few?
Yeah, to name a few. To name a few.
Kanye Dawes, Music Soul Child, Kenny Lattimore, Case, Joe.
Yeah.
And some hits with Chuck Brown.
Yeah.
This goes on. Some of these hits are with Kendra too, folks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let me move on back so y'all can have y'all's friend connection. Yes.
Yes, we've known each other for, I think I was in college, so it's been some years. But today's episode is going to be double duty. That's what we're talking about today. Basically working a 9 to 5 while you're pursuing your passion, whatever you're doing on the side, having a job. In addition to what you're doing.
So I'm actually happy to meet you. Kendra has told me so much about you, of course.
Same here.
You're like a ghost, though, because she'll be like, yeah, because my friend D, and I'm like, who's that? But I know of you, so it's not like I don't know who you are. We just never met, so this is great. But I, just like you at certain points, I worked a 9 to 5 at the same time, and this was just one of those things that we were both passionate about introducing to Passion Works 101, because we really wanted to dig into first of all, how do you do that? What are the benefits? What are the challenges? And knowing if and when there's a time to change and maybe just pursue full time, or maybe sometimes you got to make the decision to stay where you're at until you get some real lucrative situations. So I guess my next question would be what are some of the benefits and the challenges of working a 9 to 5 while you're still basically serving as a musician, which is a gig worker?
Right. So my 9 to 5 is actually tied into music too.
Right.
So it aligns,
Yeah.
I'm the music program coordinator for a nonprofit called Living Classrooms, and they're based out of Baltimore. So they have a DC branch, and I head their music programming here in DC.
Awesome.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm teaching kids music production and producing and songwriting, so the same stuff that I'm intertwined with personally. So
So I feel like that's a note. If you do have a full time, it's great or wise to try to get something that is aligned with what you do or what your skills, so that you don't always have to feel like you're being pulled. You can probably learn some music that you need to learn for a gig, teaching the kids we gonna learn this new song y'all never heard before real quick before 5 o'clock at my rehearsal.
Right.
That's dope. So that's I guess a benefit is having a
Absolutely.
job. What about the challenges? Are there any challenges with that?
I think with anything, you have to find the balance.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Just the balance.
Yeah.
Just the balance.
Just the balance.
Yeah.
Got you.
I think I want to ask, just as far as what your 9 to 5 is, how did you come about? How did you get that job? How did you come into that?
Okay, so before I went on the road, I was a touring musician for a few years. I was a music teacher in DCPS, right? So went on the road, stopped teaching, but I was like, dang, I still want the flexibility, and I still love teaching the kids. So then I started subbing along with still playing, right? And so somebody told me about a position opening up. I always wanted to teach kids music production, just because the music curriculum in schools, they're kind of, band, a little bit of music theory, general music. Choir, nobody is really bridging the gap with the technology.
Yes.
So kids have to learn that. How this music is made behind with the music that they play their Fortnite, all that stuff. go dive deeper.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I want the kids to kind of understand how music is in everything that they do.
Yeah.
That's awesome, because that bridges the time when kids are older, and then now they're having to go to a school like college age and adult age to be able to do it. So that's great. So are there any tools that you use to manage like your life? Like I know for me, when I was working a 9 to 5, like Google Calendar was my life, because and I had it coded. It was like yellow is the kids and purple is my passion and red is stuff that makes money, and like I would use the colors to be like, oh, there's not enough yellow. Maybe I should be a mom this week, or you know, this is a lot of purple here, so let me get some rest on the top of the week. So I know Google Calendar like saved my life, but I didn't know if it was anything that you. Man, it's crazy. I try to be, but you know, still things happen.
Dang. Well, no, calendar in my phone.
Yeah.
You know, that just keeps me. So I don't have any kids, so I'm able to just get up and go, oh, I got this. All right, you know. That's what it is.
Got you. So is there like a misconception about pulling double duty? Like, I don't know. Okay, so I'll tell you. So for me, when I worked a 9 to 5, I ain't telling nobody at my job. Now, mine was completely opposite of what I was doing. So that was a reason. But I also feel like when people know too much about what you do outside of work, sometimes they can use it against you. So even in your space working in that field, I feel like there's a balance between like not telling too much, because then they'd be like, so were you late because you were playing with Music Soul Child last night? Like, you know.
Absolutely. It's funny you say that. So with the nonprofit, we have a music, I guess, Instagram page, right? So I've created a username just to engage kids there. They don't have my personal, you know. So mind your business. So they know what I do, right? But you still have to draw that line, regardless. I mean, and pretty much that's where the respect comes from, because of what I do outside of that. But still, you know, that's still my job.
We don't want to see girls going wild in Cancun.
No.
But and to your point, like even with the kids, but like the adult, I just feel like people have a misconception, especially if you're a creative or in some capacity like a musician, because sometimes I feel like they just assume like you just can't manage your time well, or you can't do something. And so they will make up in their mind, like, was that report late? Actually, it was just late because I just didn't feel like doing it. It have nothing to do with that. But, you know, so that's dope.
I would say on the other side of that, I had that experience when I was working a 9 to 5. Sometimes it's a blessing when you can get to a job where they actually kind of encourage what you do.
That's true.
And I was so blessed to be in a position like that. I worked at Pump It Up. And that had nothing to do with music. I worked around kids, but I was literally doing business. This is corporate stuff. And the owners of that business were super like, we want you to use this. We want to, you have a church on Sundays and you got to be here. Then, come in at this. So it's a blessing. We can't say that it always happens that way. And that's where you kind of have to draw that line and have that balance between how much people know. So.
And I'm a Virgo, so I'm naturally private.
Look, you came in here like, what? What's the question? What you doing? But no, it's funny you said that, because on the opposite side, I tried. Now, there's a point where you can't keep it a secret anymore, because the last situation I was in, I'm going to say situation because I don't want to tell what it was, whatever. They Googled my name and some videos came up. But here's the thing. It was somebody random that like wasn't on the hiring committee, wasn't anything. And he didn't even tell me that he Googled me. Somebody else was like, yeah, so I heard you sing. And I was like, how do you know? Like, how do you know? And he was like, yeah, John told us that he Googled you. And I was like, that's great. But I'm uncomfortable, like, that kind of thing. But then on the same hand, I do have coworkers that I'm still really cool with that came out to the shows and stuff like that. So to your point, I think it's just like knowing when you work somewhere like, you cool, but you not. Don't tell Sally.
My boss has come to a couple of my gigs before, but still private.
Absolutely. And I feel like if you do a good job with what you're doing, it won't matter. Like if you do what you're supposed to do at your 9 to 5, it won't matter. But it depends.
So why not choose one or the other? Would you say that that's something you've thought about?
So I love touring and traveling. That would be my first choice, but I love giving back too. I love seeing kids grow and learn. If I had to choose, touring, but at the same time, these kids are lacking, so we have a job to do.
Yep, that's true. Share the knowledge and share the wealth.
Somebody share with us.
Yep, absolutely. I agree with that totally.
So I guess the last question would be, what advice would you give somebody that is managing the double duty?
The best advice, I don't know, learn how to balance, whether it's you have the color-coded Google Calendar or, reminders in your phone, whatever. Just learn how to balance so none of it's lacking. You want to be the best you want to do your best at both, right?
That's awesome. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming. We had to record this episode late because she was on double duty. She had to work. So we appreciate you coming. And again, we are going to share these tips with other people who are doing double duty. I will say that to you, just from now, my experience, I think is a time for both. But I do feel like it's nothing wrong with doing both. If that's what your life calls for, and you have children, or you trying to save for a house, or you whatever, if it doesn't mean that you're less of a musician or creative because you have to work a 9 to 5. It just means you'll get to a point where it can get like this. So I just encourage people who, I'm be honest, I'm too old to be a struggling musician. That's back in my early 20s where I sleep on somebody's couch. I don't even like that many people's couches to be sleeping on their couch. I don't even want to sleep on my own couch, okay? I got a bed because I got some money to get it. So all in all is to say, just keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate what you're doing for the kids and bridging that gap to the production and the technology. And so we support you in what you're doing. And thanks for coming, Kendra's friend. Now you can be my associate.
What are some ways that people can, reach out to you, follow you on social media? What are some ways?
So my Instagram is Deanna.Keys_, DEANNA.Keys, KEYS_. Facebook, what is it? Deanna-Keys Hawkins. All right.
Don't worry, we're gonna have some titles.
Yes. Cool. Yeah. And also, if you're a part of, I guess, a DCPS or any school in DC, a charter school, what have you, and you would like to partnership or want that program, the music production program, in your school, just contact me and we'll figure out how to make it happen.
There we go. That's it. I love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Passion Works 101 with our lovely guest. We hope that you'll tune in and support her organization as well. Until next time, peace.
Thank you.